Western Australia has been counting the cost today of the weekend's devastating bushfires. More than 70 homes have been lost and dozens more damaged on Perth's fringes. Many residents endured the ordeal of inspecting their gutted homes for the first time today. Now the fire risk has eased, questions are being asked about the warnings given to residents and whether enough fuel reduction burning was done in the lead up to the blaze. Danielle Parry reports from Perth.
There was no warning for us at all.
No.
The first official indication we had was when the police men came around and told us to evacuate, and to evacuate now. That was all.
It was there in no time at all, and we just managed to put a few things in the car, and just as we were doing that, the police came up the driveway and said, "You've got to go now, it's 50 metres away."
Sunday's firestorm hit the Perth hills with such speed and ferocity that few residents had time to prepare. Most ran for their lives, leaving their homes and possessions at the mercy of the flames.
How much warning did you get?
None. The next moment there was a police officer up there saying, everybody out and now. So I just grabbed a few clothes and all the thing and made a sprint for it, but I was, I think, the last person to leave the street.
We just pretty much evacuated ourselves because we were just scared, we were frightened. And I think the Victorian bushfires have, in that way they've helped us to, everyone just doesn't take chances anymore.
No one was killed in the blaze, but the property losses are severe. 70 homes are now confirmed burnt to the ground. Questions are now being raised about the quality of the West's bushfire warning system and whether more could have been done to protect these bush suburbs from the flames.
There definitely needs to be a public and an independent inquiry into bushfire leadership and bushfire administration in Western Australia.
Authorities are reviewing their use of the state's text message warning system during the weekend blaze. Some residents say they'd already left their homes by the time they'd received an SMS from authorities warning of imminent danger.
I wasn't waiting for one, but I got one about 4 hours after we'd evacuated.
In the majority of cases, it serves us very well. Our messages do get out in a timely way. But I got to reiterate, it's only one method that we used.
Authorities say fire bans were in place and constant warnings were issued via radio and online, but they say there's a limit to what they can do when a fire is moving so fast.
I think people will always want more warning time. What we had was a fire that started in swirling, strong, gusty winds in an area where there's high vegetation, and that fire started near homes. It moves very quickly. People have a responsibility to stay aware of what's happening out in the area. People need to have their plans in place so that they know what to do as soon as they're aware.
Brent and Vanessa Buffum admit they were totally unprepared for the blaze, despite living in a suburb with one of the state's highest bushfire risks. They think more bushfire training should be offered so people can help themselves.
If it was provided by the council on a regular basis, absolutely, I'd do it in an instant. And I'm even thinking, I should take more of an active role in our community, and I should maybe make that effort to learn a bit more about the environment that we're in.
Roger Underwood is a fire expert and former forester with more than 50 years' experience in land management. He believes there's a generation of tree changers moving to the bush without fully understanding the risks.
People are building in places where fires are inevitable. Secondly, they are often not building the right sort of house. There are many who are very ignorant about bushfires, don't understand the threat and don't know what needs to be done to minimise the damage that a fire will cause.
The level of prescribed burning conducted in the fire area is now being questioned. Experts are divided on whether enough is being done to reduce fuel loads along the escarpment and on private property.
If you own the fuel, you own the fire. And if you've got flammable fuel in your backyard or in your block or on your land or in your state forest or your national park, then you have got a responsibility to do something about it. Heavy fuels are being allowed to develop in and around places where people live, and it's a deadly cocktail.
As far as fire management's concerned, Western Australia is at or amongst the best in not only Australia but globally as well. They've done a large amount of burning, particularly in comparison to other states around Australia. That said, is it enough to reduce the risk? That's a debatable question.
The Bushfires Cooperative Research Centre helped investigate the Victorian bushfires and already has scientists on the ground in the west. Levels of prescribed burning are certain to be in the spotlight as they collect evidence about the fires.
Major reviews are always carried out after incidents like this, and I'm sure that's one of the areas that will be covered. Council will be a big part to play in the review, as will other emergency services.
And do you think on your property you have done enough in terms of prescribed burning?
Well, my understanding is that we have, but I mean I need to sit down once we've got through the recovery phase and go through that with our Chief Bushfire Control Officer and the volunteer brigades who do the burning for us.
Danielle Parry reporting from Perth.